Okay, so a meeting of the Recreation Committee is starting at 4:08 p.m., a little bit late because of technical difficulties on my part. In attendance is BZ Riley, Christine Robinson, Ann Brigham, Barbara Bigelow, and Christine Marglin. Absent at the moment is Elaine Leo, as far as we'll see if she comes a little later or not. So we have a pretty easy agenda today, I think, although typically when I say that, then it turns out that I'm missing something. So I guess we'll find out about that. So for today, primarily what I think we need to do is come up with some time frame for when we'll have the different events and come up with dates as best we can for them, because obviously we're going to be needing to get whoever's leading a session to agree to the date or to suggest the best date for it. And then I also wanted to talk about honorariums for the people who are leading them. We can start on any of those. Oh, and Tom may or may not be coming. Tom is who's going to do the night sky. He works until 4:30. And so I'm not sure whether he works till 4:30, gets home at 4:30. So he wasn't 100% certain that he would be able to come. But I wrote to him and just said, not to worry that, and Christine and Ann, if the two of you can just get a hold of him at some point to pick a date for that. Or to have him suggest dates. I don't think it's critical that each of the people who's doing an event comes. It's nice because we get to meet them, but the critical thing is setting up a date.
Where was he going to do that, Barbara? Where was the location of that?
I don't know. I mean, I was making an assumption. Christine, did you have some thoughts on that, or Ann?
Well, he stated that he preferred to do it at his house.
Oh, okay, great. And where is that?
Right off of Leverett.
Oh, super.
Wait a minute. Wendell.
Okay.
Wendell is where the church is, maybe 2 or 3 houses away from the community church.
Okay.
Heading down.
Okay, that sounds great. Actually, as Elaine was coming in, I remembered the magic thing that I did to be able to get to the Zoom. And that was, instead of trying to open this in my account, I used the Recreation Committee because it, of course, doesn't recognize me as an individual. So now the trick is, can I remember this for a full month? And the answer is no. So I'm going to write it down as soon as the meeting's over.
Good job.
Yes. Okay. So in that case, we've got a location. We just need to figure out when he would like to do it.
A location for what? I'm sorry.
For the night sky. Tom would like to do it at his home.
Who?
His name is Tom. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And for the record, Elaine Paleo has joined the meeting.
Spell it for me.
SCHIEDING. Sheedling. I don't know.
Well, if he comes today, we can ask. And if he doesn't come today, when you all talk to him, you can find out. Okay.
Also, I need to let you know that I have to be down at the school for the meeting tonight at 5.
Oh, okay. My bet is we're not going to need the whole time. I don't think there's anything controversial here. So what I would like to do is just go through event by event, and then so I set up a table and just put in some kind of potential dates, not dates, but months for different events. And we have the walks and we have then the events. So for the walks, we have 3 of them. And the first one is going to be Graham, and he has, and I asked, would he be willing to lead a walk on the proposed route that he presented to us last month? And he said he would love to do that. So it would give an opportunity for people who are interested in that kind of spur connecting to the trails, to the New England Trail, to see what that path or trail is going to look like. And he said a winter walk would be fine. So he was good with that.
When
That's
is
my
he gonna do
cat
it?
Nick.
When is he gonna do it?
Well, I put down, and I haven't talked to him about this, but February or March for a winter walk.
Okay.
The next one, I had originally thought I would lead a walk up Mount Orient, but Penny had a good point, and Open Space Committee is co-sponsoring these, which is most of that walk occurs in Pelham, not in Shutesbury.
Yep.
So what I thought would be a really nice walk would be to go up to those waterfalls along Sand Hill Road. And we can make it, there's kind of go in where the power lines are, then you can walk down along, and then we can make a big circle and come back up Sand Hill Road. And that's all in Shutesbury, and it's just beautiful. And I put down for that April or May. And then the third walk is at Julian's Bower. And I can't remember whether I sent out an email. I was well-intentioned in sending it out, but maybe I didn't actually do it. I heard from Chris Volanti at Kestrel, and she wrote, like, I got out of the meeting, looked at my email, and there was something from her about the Julian's Bower. So I got in touch with her because we had been asking when would be a good time to do it. And she said May or June would be a great time to come and take a hike around there. And Elaine, you had said, you know, somebody who's like super familiar with
Yep.
that.
Susan Loring Wells.
Would you be willing to ask her if she would want to do something like that
Sure.
in end of May, beginning of June?
Sure.
Great. Is that timing sound good to everybody?
Elaine,
yeah.
or also Helen Ann too.
Yeah, Helen Ann or either one
Well,
of them.
Susan has such a erratic schedule of when she's here.
Yep,
We could have one or the other. They both would be good, I think.
sure. Yep.
That sounds great. Thank you very much. So those are the
And I would say it's going to be very weather dependent, seasonal weather dependent, because
Right.
if it gets really really wet, that would be a horrible walk to do.
Okay.
If the water is high.
I think for all of these, we're going to have some kind of a rain date, which I realize doesn't address that particular issue because it could not be raining and still be really wet.
Right.
But we can, just if we need to cancel it, then we cancel it. So those are the three walks. I have myself down as the point person for the walk with Graham, because I've already talked to him about it, for the Sand Hill Road one, because I would be leading that one. And then Elaine and or Beezy, would you be willing to be sort of the contact person, which basically just means being in contact with the person who's going to be doing it?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Now the events, we have 5 events. Mushroom growing, night sky, tree bark identification, bird migration, and the art show. And even
Wow,
if listing them off, it's sounding like a lot. But let's see what this looks like. So mushroom growing, and here I used Google to get some just general ideas of things because I know nothing about any of these things. For the mushroom growing, it says planting begins in the spring after all threat of frost is gone. So to the extent that we would want something happening when we're learning about growing mushrooms, that might be a good time, would be in May when they're planting. And there's somebody, there's several people that we've mentioned who are, who grow mushrooms. So Beezy and I are kind of the people for this one. And basically all it's going to entail on our part is getting a hold of whoever it is that we're going to ask. And
do you have people, I know 2 people that do it, or 3 people that do it in town.
Okay.
But I don't know whether, I haven't, asked them whether they'd want to tell it, give a demonstration of how to do it. I've done it with Wim Levine, and I have shiitake logs myself. And you do have to do about a month before you do the inoculate, you have to inoculate the spores and put them into the, the log. So it's sort of, do we want to do the whole process, or do we want to just have them demonstrate, here are the pegs that have been inoculated with the spores? That you won't do that piece of it. So I guess that's a question. That's a whole nother step that we
Could
could.
it be a two-part?
It could. I don't think it could. I don't know whether you might watch the whole process and then go, oh, forget it, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of work. And you got to have a drill, you got to have beeswax, you got to have some equipment. You have to sort of invest in some equipment. So my thought would be to have somebody watch the whole process and not do the inoculation part, and then just see if they're interested in investing in all the materials you need to get before assuming, at least for me, if I went to watch something, I wouldn't assume that I'm going to actually want to do it. You know what I mean? I just might want to just see how it's done, as opposed to actually investing in buying the logs or the materials that you need. So that'd be my suggestion. Let's just watch somebody do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because then if somebody's really interested, they can then talk to you, talk to Wim or whoever it is who's doing it.
Yeah.
And see if they can get further assistance.
Right. But you might watch it and say, wow, that looks like a lot of work. Forget it. I don't want to do it.
So when is the best time for that?
I did it beginning of April with him.
Okay.
I didn't I think you have to have oak logs that aren't frozen. So I think by the beginning of April, the sap is running, right? It's not going to be, the sap has to be running. You have to take down a oak tree that's a certain size. So that's, yeah, so it can't be dead of winter, but it should be right when the sap is starting to move. So that's when I did it with Wim. I've done it twice with him. And Brian Bender also does it, the band director at the school. So he's got quite a little operation going in the woods behind his house. It's pretty great, actually. He's really into it. But I don't know if he does the same kind of process as Wim. I don't know. And the third person is the people who sell their mushrooms at the farmer's market in Shutesbury.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that's Deacon Bonner.
Right.
And I forget her name, his housemate.
Sue Patton.
Yeah, there you go, Sue Patton.
Yeah, they're my next door neighbors.
Oh, they are your next door neighbor?
Yeah. So they have quite a nice elaborate mushroom growing in the woods.
They do. They're way more professional, I think, than home. And I don't think they'd be open to demonstrating. I don't get that feeling about them.
No.
Well, also, if it's part of their livelihood, it's always hard to then show somebody else how to do something that takes business from itself.
Whereas Wim and Brian do it as just sort of a hobby, so, which is what I think other people would want to, and it's just fun to see how it's done. It's sort of cool,
absolutely. Can you just pick one of them and call and ask? Because I don't know either one.
I'll ask Wim.
Thank you.
I mean, Brian's got little kids. He's busy, Wim's sort of a retired doctor, so he's got a little more time on his hands.
Sort of a retired doctor.
Sort of. He's a doctor at the jail 1 day a week, I keep saying, you're really sort of retired. He goes, I work. I said, we work 1 day a week. I call that sort of semi-retired myself. But he's at the jail, which is a stressful job, and with a lot of wackadoodles up there, Franklin County Jail. But, anyway, he's an interesting character that he would give a good demonstration.
That's great. So there'll be information plus a show.
Right.
Yes. The Wim show.
That sounds perfect.
The Wim show.
Okay.
All right. I'll get in touch with them.
Yeah.
And you're saying that we would pay them something for doing this?
Yeah, that was the question that I had. I was thinking an
Because
honor.
he probably wouldn't want to get paid for his time, but he would want to get paid for the materials, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
what I've just figured based on our budget was an honorarium of between $200 and $250.
okay, that's good. Then he could get, he could get them. I'll tell him now, because if he
Mhm.
might need to order the supplies now
Okay,
for it.
good. Okay. Yeah, we have the budget for that. At this point, we've spent about $1,300, so we have another $1,700. And if we pay each of the people, including whoever does the Julian Bowers walk, $200 to $250, that's another $1,000 to $1,250. So, and that's in the budget with some change left over. So that works out well. Okay, night sky with Tom. Christina, did he give any indication of what time of year he would like to do this, or is that open?
He said, April, May.
April. Oh, good. Okay, April, May. Great. And I'm
But we should-
selfishly go ahead.
We could look at a calendar and see when there's a new moon, so that you want to have night sky when there's no moon.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one on my fridge, but I don't want to get up.
I understand that very well. I need to blow my nose, but the Kleenex is in the bathroom. What to do?
Don't you have any sleeves? Come on.
All right.
Well, he might want to pick the day, right?
Mhm.
Christine, if it's like Friday, Saturday, or is that what we're thinking, a weekend night?
Probably, yeah.
All he said was between April and May.
Okay, perfect. All right. I'm gone the first half of April, so I'm gonna put in a heavy plug for second half of April into May. Because I'd love to go to that. Tree bark identification. We had some conversation about this, and I must confess I was a little confused by our conversation, because I think the majority of you said that should occur in the spring, but I'd always thought the whole point of the bark identification was to be able to identify trees in the winter when they didn't have other identifying features like leaves. So, so I kind of left that one still sort of open in terms of the timing, but I wanted to hear the argument for doing it in the spring, once the leaves have budded, as opposed to in the winter when there's just bark.
I think we should do it in the fall, because we have so many things already scheduled for the spring.
Wait on that one?
Well, just do it late, because we've got the art show, we've got the
Yeah, okay.
the mushrooms and the night sky. Let's have a couple things for the fall.
Okay, I think we also have a whole laundry list of other things, so we'll be fine, but I'm certainly fine with waiting on the fall. And Christine, you and I were doing that one. How do you feel about holding that till the fall? The tree bark.
I was doing that one. Oh, okay. I just
Yeah.
remember I had signed on for birds or something, but no, that's great. Tree bark is
Okay.
great. Yeah,
All right, that
do it for fall, and I guess we have time to talk about it, but do you know someone to contact about leading that?
we got a name from Mary Ann. I wasn't organized enough to look it up now, but yes, we did have somebody who could do that.
Okay, if you end up wanting me to contact that person, just shoot me their contact information, name or whatever, or I can ask Marianne.
Yeah, I've got the information somewhere, so as we all get it all put together, and then we can get a hold of them. And then for the birds, I looked up, and I don't know whether we'd actually want to do it during this time. Peak bird migration for our area is May 15th to 21st. Who would have known? But I would say we leave it to whoever it is that we're asking to do the bird walk to determine the time. But I was trying to just get sort of a general sense, because spring will probably be the best time. right now, we're looking at things February, March for a walk, April, May for a walk, May, June. May is and April are getting kind of filled up. That might be a nice June thing to do, or have the birds gotten too quiet in June?
So
How about hawks migrating? That happens in September. And we used to have a teacher at the elementary school that would take the kids up to the top of the Holyoke Range every September. It was just incredible, and watch the hawks, just floating in the, I don't know, as another fall activity.
Yeah,
but
there's probably
also,
enough. Go ahead.
also, Cliff Reed, who
Oh
used,
yeah, Cliff would be
who
awesome.
used to work at the Quabbin, he does bird identification and bird, not just identification, but and not tagging, but
IDing the
what
birds.
is it when you go out and you look for how many
Bird
birds
count.
are?
Bird
Bird
count.
counts. Thank you. Bird counting. He does bird counts. And I know he did one right around Christmas, and I think he does it sometime in the spring. And they actually do bird counting for what
Mass
is
Auto-
no, not the Audubon, for the department. What's the department that the Quabbin is in?
DCR.
DCR. My brain is gone today. Went on
Wow.
vacation. DC, it left without me.
Grandmother brain.
DCR. So he used to work for DCR, and he does bird counts for DCR. So I know that between him and Leslie Brager, they would be the ones to get in touch with and to say when's a good time to go out and look for birds.
I'm just saying that maybe because we have so much backed up in the spring,
Right.
maybe they could do it in the fall. I mean, I'm
Yep.
sure I think they do it every season.
Mhm.
And the hawk thing, I think, would be really, the kids would dig it. I mean, it's really, we used to take fifth graders, and it was just so much fun to watch. And they do, there are like thousands of them migrating. It's just sort of a cool thing. But he could do both, I guess. He could do, I'm sure he would know about all those best.
Elaine, I actually had you down as the person who'd volunteered to get somebody for that. Could you call Cliff and just see
Oh,
what
sure.
he has to say? Because we could do it both times. There's always lots to hear and see when it comes to birds.
Yep.
Okay,
Definitely.
so I think we're then all set with all of those. We each have our quote marching orders, and we can get the calendar pretty much nailed down pretty quickly. I will get a hold of Graham, because here we are, it's February already. So we'll want to move ahead with that. Yeah, Christine?
When you listed all the events, I had art show. Do we need to say anything?
We're about to do the art show.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of holding that separate.
And just want to flag that we haven't approved the minutes from last meeting.
Oh, thank you so much. I always do that, don't I?
No.
Not always.
No.
Okay. Could somebody move to, let's see, what do we don't start with
So
that.
moved.
Discussion.
So
Oh,
moved.
so moved. Thank you. Second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, Christine. One of these days I'll remember all by myself.
Then you
So,
won't need a committee.
said what?
Then you won't need a committee.
Oh, I think I need you all for a little bit more than that. So, okay, so I think, yeah, so we're good on that. We'll hold off on the tree bark. Fortunately, none of these really are gonna be big time consuming things to do. We're looking for local people who are experts in the community who would be interested, willing. I mean, and then we still have a big long list of ferns, spring ephemerals. I mean, there's a huge number of animals, and
I mean, the biggest thing that we have to do is advertise it so people show up.
that's right.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good luck with that, and all of these are co-sponsored with the library. So we'd be sending out a townwide email. Mary Ann sends it out, so,
Maybe we should put it up on our website, a calendar.
oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
I love that idea, Elaine, because I think if we can advertise as many as possible, as soon as we know the dates, that's really helpful rather than
Yep.
doing it one
Yep.
at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, yeah, when, as we get our dates, we should be able to do this optimistically before the end of March, have all of the dates and everything lined up. And if we don't, we can always put in a TBA for things. Okay, the art show. So it was great. We got a lot of information last week, or last month rather, about the art show. I had some notes somewhere. I don't know where I put them, because she had quite a long list of things that she was, it's going to be on Sunday, June 30th. Is that right? What I had down here. And she sounds like she's pretty well organized around, oops. Oh, Tom is here. So we will go straight to this, if that's okay, and come back to the art show. Hi, oh, Tom's still connecting. And maybe we'll be able to nail down a date. Hi, Tom. Can you unmute?
You
So
can
Tom,
unmute him. I think you can unmute him.
oh, how do I do that? Do I go to participants?
I think so.
Okay, participants. No, this just says invite. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I can, can't I?
Mhm.
I can ask to unmute. I can't actually unmute.
Like to unmute.
Oh,
Hello.
there you are. Oh, great. Hi. I don't know whether you can also.
Well, I had to unmute for, I don't know. It's the first time I've used this.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I know that it was kind of a pinch in terms of time.
Yeah, I just got home, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, because I'm going to guess you don't know everybody here. So I know you know Christine.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Tom.
Yeah, hi.
I'm Elaine.
Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
I'm Anne.
Hi. I'm Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I'm busy.
Hello.
Hi.
So Christine.
And another Christine. Great.
Another Christine. Okay. Hello.
Yeah. So again, thanks so much for coming, and thanks so much for being willing to do this workshop on the night sky. We're very excited about it. So we actually, what we were hoping to learn from you is what, actually you had said to Christine that April to May would be the best time. Is that right? That when you would like to do it, and you'd like to do it at your house.
Yeah, at the house for sure. Yeah, I think you know, the best start time would be like the last week of April.
Okay.
And then we could go through May and maybe even a little into June if we want to.
Okay, so best would be end of April.
Yeah, the last week of April.
Okay.
And
Should we
where is
just-
your place?
Where am I?
Yes.
55 Wendell Road.
55
Perfect.
Wendell.
It's right in the center. I'm a quarter of a mile down from the center of town.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep. What's up?
So Anne, are you neighbors?
No,
No,
Yeah.
not really.
Anne's on Montague.
Oh, Montague. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've got my town roads mixed up. Sorry
Yeah.
about.
I'm parallel to Tom,
Oh,
but
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good start time. Then
okay.
we can go through May if you want. And then you know, maybe a week or two into June. We don't want to get too much farther than that, because then it takes forever for the sun to go down.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, by the time you get to the second week of June, the sun doesn't set until like 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
So it sounds like you're willing to have this be something that occurs on more than one occasion. We were sort of thinking of this as a one night
Oh, okay.
event. Is that going to be okay? work out
Well,
okay?
whatever you like, yeah,
Okay.
you know. I thought it was gonna be kind of a series, but that's okay. Maybe May would be better then.
Okay,
Just because, you know, it's more likely that you're gonna hit, uh, good weather in
oh,
May.
of course, yeah,
You know, I
and,
mean,
you know,
it's all critical, it's all reliant on the weather, sure.
yeah, oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, what we're hoping is that we'd be able to set up a rain date or cloudy date if
Right.
it's really overcast.
Can you hang on for 1 second?
Of course.
I'll be right back.
Mhm.
So that's cool. He wants to do more than one night.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I would go more than one night. I mean, people might have a choice, but if you could do like a couple of nights, and then you really get a chance to see how things change.
Yep.
as we-
Hmm. Oh, unfortunately, this calendar doesn't have the lunar. That's unfortunate. Well, I'm gonna have to get back to you. If you want it to be one night, then, I want to get back to you what
Mhm.
will be the best night in May to do it. Because
Well-
a lot of it depends on the moon.
So
You
what are
know.
you looking for? A low moon?
Well, you're looking for something, it would be nice to look at the moon, but a full moon is not good, like first quarter, something like that is good. Or even anything but a full moon, because on the full moon, everything just looks flat because the sun is shining directly down on it.
So the
When-
full moon is May 23rd
Okay,
The
and
new
June
moon,
21st, and
so the week before that might be really good.
the new moon is May 7th to 9th.
you don't want a new moon, you want
No, a new moon is no moon,
Right.
you can't see the moon at all.
Mm.
So that the week before the full
so
moon
like the
is probably
16th, the week of the
pretty good.
16th.
Yeah, something like that.
Basically. Tom, we actually we had just assumed you would only be available to do one evening, so we haven't even really thought about the possibility of having something that
Well, why
allows
not-
us to see how the night sky changes.
Right. Well, I'm willing to do it. Why don't you think about it and get back to
Yeah,
me? And
thank
then
you.
just
That would be
get back
great.
to me.
Okay,
I'm perfectly willing to do it since I'm doing it at home anyway. And I'll probably, if it's a nice night, I'll have the telescope set up anyway.
that's wonderful.
Oh, the library has a telescope and I have a telescope. Would you want us to bring them?
Well, you can if you want. I have a few telescopes myself,
Oh,
but
boy.
if you want to bring one,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe.
Telescope party.
Yeah, maybe the library would like to do that too, and then people would know that the library has one and they could get excited about checking it out.
Right. What kind of telescope do you have?
A big one. I don't know. I don't know. It sits on a table in a room that I never use it, so I can't tell you really. I just know I have one.
Okay.
Does that
Well,
help?
if you get a chance, let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Look at it, find out what it is exactly, and then send me a description of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, just kind of talking out the top of my head, what it might be a great idea would be to plan on 2 evenings and then let people know who come that you welcome people to come by.
Uh-huh.
If you're out there, is that amenable to you?
Well, however you want to set it up, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I used to do this as a course at Holyoke
Oh.
Community College. It was a non-credit course, and we had, I think it was 6 weeks or something like that.
Mhm.
And I would actually have them come up here,
Oh, wow. Mhm.
and but it was kind of a progressive course, and we'd talk about one thing one week and then move on, and gradually they would get, more and more familiar with the sky
Mhm.
and what's up there, and then how to use star charts and how to use and how to find things in the sky, you know.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting because especially if you sort of follow the moon and you notice how the moon changes position and changes shape, week by week.
Mhm.
It's a cool thing to say for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tom, I have a question for you about the sky.
Yes,
Are we going to be able to see the solar eclipse here in Shutesbury in May?
not the total eclipse. You'll be able to see a piece of it. In other words, the moon will cover up part of the sun from Shutesbury.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to see the whole thing, you're going to have to go farther west.
And north too,
Like-
right?
Yeah, like New York State,
I heard it was passing
western
through
quarter of
Vermont.
Maine.
So,
Yeah, way up in Vermont.
uh-huh.
Vermont, like near the Vermont Maine border. You can look it up and they'll show you the path of
Yeah,
totality.
yeah. I just wondered
Very
if we
narrow.
could,
It's a very narrow path, though.
right.
Where it's
So we're
total.
not gonna see much here.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what the percentage of coverage will be here. I haven't really looked
Uh-huh.
that up. But I mean, looking at it with a telescope, it's pretty interesting because
Yeah, it would be
and
cool.
we'll see, it might get a little darker here, if
Right.
more than 50% of the sun gets covered by the disk of the moon, then it's very interesting. I've never seen a total eclipse, but I did observe an annular eclipse, which is where the moon passes in front of the sun, but it's at its apogee. So it doesn't completely cover the sun. It makes
Mhm.
like a bright ring in the sky, but it gets
Yeah.
dark and it gets cold. and
Right.
the animals think it's nighttime. So all the
Right.
nighttime animals come out. The birds are
Mm.
quiet, and all of the rest of the nighttime animals start chiming in. You know what I mean? It's really a strange thing.
Yeah. I
So-
always think, what did the ancient people think, back in the
I would
day?
I would love to go see the totality, but it's just the wrong time of the year. It's tough.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Christine, I know.
and the chances are that you'd chase after it and it would be cloudy anyway, especially,
Well, that's true.
So
So I know
I-
Christine has to leave a little early because you have to be at the school, you said at 5. So Christine, I don't know whether you had any questions, comments about, doing more than one time?
I think it's awesome. And Tom does a wonderful program. Mia and I attended, I believe, maybe 8 years ago or something when Marianne
Oh,
had.
was it that long ago? Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so, Tom, but it was wonderful. I loved it. It was so intriguing. It was just awesome.
Because maybe what the committee can do right now is just kind of have a discussion, see whether or not what we want to do about how many. I'm just so grateful to you and your generosity of just being willing to have people come to your house and share your wisdom with them. That's great. Thank you.
Well, that's part of being an amateur astronomer. That's what you're supposed to do.
I
So,
like that. I like that idea. That's what it is to be an amateur.
yeah, right.
So probably the best thing is we'll have actually, we can have the conversation right now. Any thoughts from people? I know I throw my thoughts out, which is I would love to have 2, certainly more than 1.
Definitely.
I really like the idea of having 2 as well. I think if people come and they are interested in it, it's really nice to have another one. And I like, Tom, what you were saying about have it be progressive, not have you repeat what you did. But as you said, follow the moon. And
Right.
I just think that's really exciting.
Well, in that case, we might want to start a week earlier than, what'd you say the full moon was the 23rd?
Yeah, because you had said the 16th would be a good date.
Okay, so 2 weeks before that.
The 7th.
Yeah, so we'd want to
May
go like the 7th, 14th, or something like that, and the 23rd, whatever it is.
5,
It
7,
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be exactly on the
Okay.
first quarter, but right around that time.
Okay.
So that sometime during those weeks, basically.
Perfect.
See, when the moon gets bright, it also starts to wash out a lot of the more dim objects that you might want to look at. But the moon is so bright that you won't be able to see those dim objects because of the sky glow, that it creates. So typically astronomers like to get out when there's no moon at all. And then the sky is very dark and they can see some of those more obscure objects like distant galaxies and faint nebula. So, but the spring sky, you're not really looking at the Milky Way. And so there's fewer things to see, you know what I mean? Fewer of the more spectacular things you might look at.
What would be the best time? The summer would be the better time, or
Well,
the winter, or the what?
well, the winter's terrible because it's too darn cold out there.
Right.
The summer's good, except that then it takes forever to get dark. So
Right.
I mean, try it this spring if it works out. I mean, there's definitely things to see. It's not like there's nothing to look at. There's stars up there for sure, and who knows? Maybe there'll be a comet.
Could we do something in September? Maybe that would be.
Yeah,
a
we
good time
could.
to
We could. Well, let's see how it works in
Right.
in the spring, and we can say, well, come back in the fall.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole different sky.
Yeah.
It'll be on the other side of the world.
I think that would be good to have one in
Yeah.
the spring and one in the fall.
I agree with you. Super.
And that it would be nice to see that it'd be more of a comparison or
Oh yeah, the sky is completely different in the fall.
yeah. And if we did it from the same point from your house, then it would be
It's a
I think
whole different sky.
Yeah.
right. It'd be cool.
Thank you. This is exciting. I
Yeah,
like
so
the
why don't you
idea.
think it over, and if we can do those 2 weeks in the spring, and then we'll
Great.
see how many people are interested in continuing.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to our meeting.
You're
And
welcome.
It was great to meet you. And again, thank you for your willingness to be so generous with your time and knowledge.
No problem.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, good to meet you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Tom.
Thank you.
Yep. See you later.
Okay.
I gotta go, Barbara.
Yeah, no, I realized that. And I was actually going to suggest that we hold on talking about going into any detail on the art show until our next meeting. I don't think there's a rush about that. So, but anyway, thank you, Christine, for coming. And just for the
Thank you,
record,
everybody. We'll see you on
Thanks,
the fourth,
Christine.
Yeah.
Tuesday, right?
yes, the fourth
Cool.
Tuesday. Mhm.
Peace, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, so,
Barbara, can I ask a question?
oh, please.
Oh, sorry, Christine, you go ahead.
This is real quick. It's just if you want Tom's last name in the minutes, you're gonna need to spell it again for me. Because I just didn't write it down, which I should
Yeah.
have.
You know what I'll do? I'll send you, I don't have the spelling of his last name in front of me. So,
Okay,
I will send it to you right after the meeting, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because I think Christine, knew the spelling. Yeah, Anne?
Are we gonna have a chance before we break today to talk about honorarium? Because it
Yeah.
would be nice if Christine, I mean, right now she's in contact with Tom, but to follow up with him, and if he's doing 2 sessions, does he get double the honorarium?
One would think.
That's what I would
Yeah,
support.
yeah, absolutely. Other
I-
comments on that?
I think we should establish something like a pay scale that we pay people. Everybody gets sort of the same
Mhm.
amount. If they want it, or they could put the money into the library, they want to donate their money or whatever. But I remember when I've been on this committee for a while, when somebody wanted to do a demonstration for us and they wanted to get paid like some ridiculous amount of money because that's what they got paid out in the real world, you know what I mean? And it was sort of like, well, we didn't really have like, this is what we pay. And we pay everybody sort of the same amount so that it's not like a sliding scale of who's famous and who's not, or what, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
For
Yeah, that's
every,
why I was suggesting either $200 or $250. And then Ann's question is that most people will be doing one thing, one day, and he'd be doing 2 days. So do we pay him for 2 days? And I would
that,
say,
that's a good
yeah,
question.
I would too, but then it does raise the question, say the mushroom workshop is on one day, but it's 5 hours.
right.
And it might be prep. They might be having to do prep where he won't have to do any prep. You know,
Well,
somebody,
he might have to.
well, I doubt it. If he's done this a bunch of times, he probably has it down.
Well, we could just, I mean, I realized I'm comfortable either way, just saying this is what we pay. And then if we were ever to get into a situation, suppose that there was this hue and cry for him to do a 6-week class and it was easy enough for us to advertise it, then we might want to give him more.
Right.
Yeah.
I do see the point because somebody might be spending a lot of time that we don't see, or the event itself might last longer.
Right.
And I don't want to get into hourly rates. The idea of kind of
No.
basic pay for an event.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think we could also say, if you feel like, well, like the people who are leading the walk, if that's too much, you can always feel free to donate it to the library.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
because I can see how some people in town would say, I don't want to get paid for that. I'll just donate it to the library, which would be a nice little way for us to kick back to the library.
Yeah, it would be. That's a very good idea, especially because they're co-sponsoring.
Yeah.
Good.
Without us actually taking our money and giving it to the library, instead we give it to them.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Thanks, Dan, for bringing that up. So are we okay with waiting for the discussion of the art show until the next meeting? And I think we can just lead off with it.
Yeah, we don't really need, there's not really anything that,
No.
we have to start advertising it, but I think Joan is probably up on all that too.
Yeah. We have.
Joan's out of the country until about March 7th.
Oh, did she
So
go to Puerto Rico or something for the,
no, Jamaica.
oh, Jamaica. Yeah, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you like to be down there? Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about, BZ.
Yeah.
So wait, sorry. Did we settle on an amount? Are we saying 250? I feel like if we, I know maybe we have to vote on it next time, but maybe we could, the 4 of us could say, let's come back the next meeting and vote on this. Cause otherwise I feel like we might have another 20-minute conversation about it next time.
The reason I picked $200 or $250 is that's what we've been paying. I think we gave,
Right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we gave Zoe at the farm, and then the farm sanctuary, I think we gave them $250. So that's been kind of our going rate. And when I initially asked Marianne, what does she pay? She said $200, $250. So $250, we certainly have the money to do that.
If we have the money, let's do that. If we have to, if we think we want to save some money for more programs, we could pay 200.
Well, it sounds like we're not really looking to save money on programs right now because we're pushing some off to the fall. So,
okay.
Yeah. And then, there's just so much that we can do as well.
Right.
Right.
So,
and what's our monetary season? Are we done in June? Is it yeah. So we have to spend all it by June and then start another
Oh shoot.
Yeah, there's no problem spending everything because, well, first we spent everything last year. We had no problem. We also gave the library more money last year. We have more programming this year, so we have more things that we're paying for programming. If we and we already paid Steve and Kara $250 because we wanted to give him an honorarium.
Right.
And he chose to use the money to buy things for school because he actually said, I want you to understand, I don't do this for the money. I do this because I love the kids. And I said, I know.
We could tell.
Yeah, you
That's
can, it's
great.
very obvious. So, and if we do have anything left over, we can make a contribution to the library.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah, so we're in good shape here.
Barbara, I just looked Tom up, so I've got the spelling of his last
Oh,
name.
you do? Thank you very much.
I
It
realized
is a
you can
little
look
hard
up
to remember.
anyone. You can look
What?
up anyone, you know, I realized after I asked you, you can look up anyone, so.
That's true, rather frightening. But quite,
Yeah, that is frightening.
yeah. So unless there's any other business, does anyone want to move to adjourn?
Iris might want to say something. The cat.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Looks like she has something she wants to say. You want to say something, Iris? No, guess not.
Well, she does, but she's saying it in her own language if she's a cat.
All right.
Move to adjourn, anyone? And second, and all those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
And so the meeting is adjourned at 4:59 PM, and I'm stopping the recording.